who's that sexy thing I see over there? That's me, standing in the mirror. What's that icy thing hanging around my neck? That's gold. Show me some respect. I thank God every day that I woke up feeling this way. And I can't help loving myself, and I don't need nobody else. Nuh-uh. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too.
Well done,
That was
Samantha.
horrible.
Honestly.
Thank you.
No, well done. Thank you very much.
No problem.
We'll let everybody know we had a little bit of a technical faux pas, so you're making another appearance at the show, which is great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
So we were going to re-record it. That's all. So we'll just try to remember everything we talked about.
I'll try. Yeah.
Obviously, it had nothing to do with anything but roofing. That's all it was. But we were talking a lot of stuff about construction. So welcome back to the show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
So we got Samantha De Coteau back on the show, and it's Summit Sisters Roofing Inc. and www.summitsisters.ca, roofergirl.inc at outlook.com. And then on Instagram, it's the.roofer.girl, and also the same, I think, on TikTok.
And Facebook, it's just Roofer Girl.
It's just Roofer Girl there. All right, so let me do a quick shout out. I want to do a quick shout out to Tony from TC Installations. Respect, Tony. I haven't seen you. I haven't spoken to you in a bit. I know you've been quiet on social media, but he's doing amazing work and doing his installs and everything like that. And also, he's always keeping the job site so clean. He's got the cleanest tools, cleanest workwear, cleanest van, cleanest everything. Envious. I'm envious. Find him on IG at tc.installations.inc. And of course, you can hear his story way back when. Number 71. Love to have you back on the show, Tony, when you have some time. And thank you so much. So, on with the show with Samantha.
Hi.
Where do you want to be in? No, you've had 9 years roofing.
Yeah.
And I think I was trying to remember asking you a bunch of questions, but I definitely, the first question was why roofing? It's not the easiest, one of the easiest trades, painter. It's a hard job, especially Mother Nature is always on your back. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. Summer, winter.
Right now it's raining and messing with you guys, your schedule and everything like that, which you feel for. And then it's going to start to get hot.
Yeah.
Ridiculously
hot and humid. Yeah. Why roofing? I don't know. That's like the number one question that everybody asks me. I don't know why I chose roofing. I just kind of started doing it. I used to do drywall and steel stud framing. I did that for 2 years before I started roofing. And
did you enjoy that?
I did, but probably not as much as I enjoyed roofing.
Why is there the love for roofing? Because I see roofers kind of react the same way and describe it the same way. And I'm envious about the environment when it's ideal.
I don't know. For me, I just felt like I really wanted to get really good at it when I first started. Like I just really wanted to grow and get stronger so I can pack those bundles because they're heavy. And I wanted to be fast because, that's like the main argument in roofing, like how fast you are, how strong you are, can you pack your own bundles and how many bundles can you get on? And it's really competitive. And I just wanted to be, like the best I could be at my job. So I worked really hard to become good at it. And it just made me feel super empowered, made me feel strong. I was making good money. So, and I fell in love with it. I call it roof therapy.
Roof therapy?
Yeah, when I'm up there, because when you're shingling, you get into this zone and you're just like in the moment. Yeah.
So that's what you connected with, but you didn't have that same feeling with drywall and steel studs?
No.
Because steel studs suck the cut and handle with.
Yeah.
And drywall is drywall.
Yeah. Oh, it's dusty and you're inside all day and roofing, you're outside and you get to, sometimes we get to roof in some like really beautiful areas, nice scenery, lots of water. I just did an island job not long ago and that was awesome. Like we had to boat in, boat out. Yeah.
Big house?
It wasn't very big. It was a little challenging, I guess, because we had to pack bundles. Like we couldn't get bundles delivered close to the house. So we had to walk them. Oh, wow. And then the garbage too was something else.
Wow. So that was a bit of a chore. But once you got all the material there.
Yeah. The roof went fast. The roof was fast. It was just mostly like the cleanup that was kind of hard, I guess.
But then it must have looked beautiful when it was all finished, right?
It was
Especially
beautiful.
location.
Yeah. And just being in the location it was in, it was beautiful. Yeah.
And so you got started 9 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was that. But then also your then boyfriend, I guess, at the husband.
He's my husband now. Yeah.
Right? He kind of trained you a little bit or taught you?
Yeah.
Something?
I met him on the roof when I was just a laborer. And and he pretty much taught me everything. I wouldn't say like everything, because I did have I ended up working on a crew where like all the men were like super supportive and welcoming, and they helped him train me. And yeah, my husband taught me a lot, and they all taught me a lot. And then eventually my husband was working for me. Eventually some of the guys on the crew were working for me. So
because good work is good work.
Yeah.
Simple as that. What was the first lesson you learned that you kind of had a moment when you were roofing and they were sharing tips and tricks? What was one of the first things?
First lesson
kind of sticks out.
I don't even know. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know like what my first lesson would be. I think because I started with a different crew, it was just how we were ripping. And when I started working next to my husband, when I started on that crew, they taught me how to do different things differently from the other crew where, I don't know, I guess how you rip a roof, and it matters how you rip because, you don't want to make a big mess where your shingles scattered all over the roof and it just takes longer to clean. So they taught me how to like rip and put everything in neat piles as I go. And people think it takes longer that way, but it doesn't. And it's so organized, so clean. Like you make your piles and then you're done ripping and you just take your piles, toss it in the bin.
So you're thinking about working the whole time that you're working?
Sometimes, yeah.
No, like outside of being in the zone, you're actually prepping. So it's not just a matter of just you're a monkey, you'll go up there and all of a sudden just start ripping everything apart and get the job done. No, you're thinking about, at the end of the day, it's hard work to wrap up.
Yeah, you want to be organized and productive. And they say, work smart, don't work hard.
Yeah, I mean, I love hearing from framers telling me in my first year of construction where it's like when you're wrapping the end of the day and you're making your way down. So let's say whatever, smoke break or bathroom break or whatever, bring a tool down with you. Mm-hmm. So you're not wasting time, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're planning.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the same thing.
That's the part of the thinking that I was kind of
or even when you're on the ground and you're going up and bring a bundle up or bring a roll or, bring something you need.
No empty trips.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And that makes for an efficient crew. Mm-hmm. So that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
So why is there such a, you guys are a special breed.
That's what I hear.
Oh, you guys are. You totally are. Like and I've seen majestic work, like the way crews work on a roof. Like it's a symphony. Yeah. Like I've seen it, and it's actually it's relaxing to watch. Mm-hmm. To me, it is.
Yeah, same thing. Like when I make my roofing videos, like I always go back and I'm always rewatching them. It's just, I don't know.
But in the flip side, when you're driving around the neighborhood and you see a really bad crew.
Oh, yeah. Or else even like.
You see the mess. It's not piles. It's just mess everywhere.
Yeah. And I've seen people like crews leave roofs open overnight. And that's like, to me, that's like a big no-no. Like you never leave a roof exposed.
You know what's going to happen.
Weather can be unpredictable. Why take that chance?
Yeah, they text Mother Nature right away.
Yeah.
She's getting bombarded and all of a sudden there's rain coming somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, and that's why I have a special like a fondness for roofing crews, because when you guys work in unison, like it's just like a machine. It's really fascinating. And framers are the same way. Concrete are the same way. They're all like that, right? Mm-hmm. And they just kind of everyone knows each other's duty. Everyone knows what's asked of them.
Yeah.
And so you kind of work like a machine, which is really fascinating to see it.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah. Awesome.
So there's been so many lessons that you've learned over the years, and you've gotten better, obviously. So I guess in your first year, you weren't super fast, you weren't super efficient, but you quickly learned.
When I first started roofing, I remember my very first roof, actually, it was a 2-story 612. And I was just really shocked that nobody made sure like I was properly tied off. And then the anchor that they put in was not even in studs. Like when I think back about it now, it was just in the plywood. Oh. And then they were like, oh, clean the gutters. And I'm like, what? Are you crazy? Like I'm not even tied off properly. And they're like, oh, clean the gutters. And like, I'm just so new to roofing. Like it's my first, I didn't even know what a shingle ripper was when I started roofing. Like I was just so new to it. And I remember cleaning the gutters and they weren't clean enough, but I was just scared. Like I was just so scared to go to the edge of the roof. And
were you too nervous to even ask?
Yeah. Well, like I seen everybody else, like nobody cared.
It was just a job.
Yeah, it was just everybody, I guess they were more comfortable up there, but like for me, it was my first day. Like I just didn't really know what to do, but I was also like, I didn't feel safe cleaning the gutters. But when I think about it now, like 612 is nothing. I could easily do that.
I know, but on a first day,
yeah,
you're on there and...
Yeah, and I was just like, how come nobody tied me off? Yeah. I'm not going to say what company it was. I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but yeah.
But no, if somebody else came on your crew right now and they're getting started in theirs first,
you're
going to take the time.
Yeah, I want them to feel safe. And I always tell them, like, if you feel uncomfortable, you're allowed to say no.
Yeah.
And if you get too hot, like, and you need a break, let me know, because the last thing I want is somebody passing out on my roof or, getting hurt or whatever. Yeah. And that's what I tell them. Like, don't be scared to tell me that you need a break. Like if you need to go sit in the shade or something, just do it.
Because that's what I mean. It's like you guys are always watching each other's backs. Because one little misstep, literally, something bad can happen as a result, right?
So. Yeah, exactly. Like I broke my ankle on the roof 2 years ago, and it was due to another worker's negligence, because he was shingling his side and he put a shingle over the vent hole. Normally when we do that, we cut it out right away. We mark it or something to indicate that there's a hole there. Yeah. And he just left his shingle over it. And then one of the guys were like, oh, we're going for a break and whatever. And I was like, I'll stay back. And my husband was like, I'll stay back too. But my husband was working on the lower section of the roof, and I was like kind of like a middle. And then there was like the top part. So I had to like walk up there to grab a bundle. I went up to grab a bundle and I stepped in the hole.
With the weight of the bundle?
And I dropped the bundle on my ankle and broke it. And now I got plate and 6 screws in there.
Ouch.
Yeah. It was like February, so it was cold outside. And I was like yelling at my husband, like, you need to call the ambulance. And he thought I was being dramatic. And he's like, oh, get up and walk on it. I'm like, I can't walk.
Come here, I'm going to break yours.
It's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they called the ambulance, and then the paramedics were too scared to come on the roof. So at that point, like I felt so helpless, and I was like really scared, and I'm like, how am I going to get off of here? And they had to call the fire truck. So they brought the fire truck, and it was the ladder it had like a stretcher inside of it, like a bucket and a stretcher. So they gave a big needle in my arm and put me on there.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was probably one of the scariest things that happened to me on the roof.
It can happen. I mean, that's the thing about that trade.
It's like you can be safe, but you can't guarantee the people around you are going to be safe.
How did he feel, the guy who did it?
I think he felt bad. Like he worked with us for a long time. So he was a really good worker, and he actually helped run crew for a bit too. But yeah, I think he felt bad.
Yeah.
I think everybody felt bad. Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah.
But you still love roofing.
I still love roofing. I still had my air cast on when I was back on the roof.
Really?
Yeah.
Walking
I was up there with the air cast.
Really?
I went when I was ripping, because I couldn't really walk with it. I would just work on my knees, rip on my knees.
Could you imagine if a Ministry of Labor showed up and they're asking, how are you going to fit your steel toe over that?
I don't know. Thank God they didn't.
They shouldn't be asking that. They should be like going, that's what we need more of. Mm-hmm. Not, okay, so you're missing one safety boot, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's not like I was walking around on the roof. I was mostly crawling on my knees. But the only thing I couldn't really do was like toss my own shingles, or I could kind of grab bundles, but I would have to like drag them.
Got it.
But yeah, I still
you
made
were
it work.
still working.
I was still working. I was still kicking butt on the roof. So
has roofing changed a lot in the last 10 years? Better, worse?
I think, well, like 3-tab is like kind of like an older brand of shingles. They don't really do those anymore.
Still there though. You get the old school guys that are.
Yeah, but not often. Like I've only done 3-tab like maybe 3 times.
What's everybody asking for? Architectural?
Yeah. And metal.
Which are heavier shingles for you guys?
Oh, they're so heavy. Yeah.
They're nicer, but they're heavier.
Also, I think like roofers are not, I don't know, like there's a lot of bad roofers out there.
There's a lot of bad trades everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of bad, but they're not the definition of the industry.
No.
For any of the trades. So it's just people want to shed the light on the bad stuff. Why you bring that up?
I don't know, because like, you know what, if I partnered up with a crew or went help out another crew besides my own, say if work was slow and I went help out another crew, which I have like throughout the years. And I just feel like I'm not the one running the crew, but like I see people do some like not good stuff on the roof. And it's not my place because it's not my job to say anything, but I'm low key thinking it.
Is it because they can get away with it?
I don't know. I think a lot of roofers just want to get things over and done with. And they let that competitive side get in their head too much, and they just really fast and just don't care about where their nails are landing or if they're even going in all the way. You know, stuff like that just really bothers me.
But like, I assume that it's going to bother you if you don't do it properly, that there might be a failure in a short period of time.
I just don't go on people's jobs and tell them how to do their job.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, I don't know. Like I see a lot of roofers out there that just don't care that much, I guess. Maybe.
You should almost do like soccer, right? Football for your Europeans out there. Like you pull out a yellow card or pull out a red card when someone does something bad on the roof.
Yeah.
And just throw it on the shingle there. See what they would do if they pull it out, right? But I don't know if that would fly. They probably just throw it back, or they probably nail it down.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably wouldn't care. Get the roof done.
I know that you work with other female roofers as well too, right? And then you also recently did a job, didn't you? A GoFundMe project.
Oh yes, I did a charity project out on the Six Nations Reserve.
How did that go?
It went great. It didn't go as planned, but that's another thing I learned. Like nothing ever goes as planned.
But it was ambitious to begin with, right?
Yeah. And it was scary for me to do because I didn't know, like I couldn't guarantee the people who said we're going to come help, we're all going to help. And that's exactly what happened. So I ended up going back like 3 more days after we completed the roof to finish up other stuff on the house because there was like several people who like big volunteers who just didn't come. So
did it give you an excuse or something, or
well, one was like something like, one guy was sick, and then another guy had something to do with his grandparents, and another one had to go to a wedding. But I just feel like when you offer to do something like big like that for somebody, like you should commit to it, because it's so easy for people to say all the nice things they want to do for somebody. It's so easy to say it, but it's funny. One thing to actually get up and go do it. Yeah.
It's funny you're bringing that up. It's just recently, I don't know, it must be the season or something, but a lot of people are chatting. A lot of people are like barking and not fulfilling.
Yeah.
And
and that's what it was. And I, because I made promises to the homeowner, and I still went back and did it.
How's she feeling? Is she feeling better?
I'm still like, her sister wants me to go do her siding now. So we're going to do that. So we're still like really close contact with them. And we went back there to pick up some like materials and whatever that we had left behind. And I was talking with her, and she was telling me that she had texted her sister when it started raining outside. She texted her sister right away. Oh, make sure you grab the pails. She completely forgot. Like it was just such a routine for her. Like that was her automatic response to, the rain coming, was get the pails ready. And then she remembered that her roof is done. Like she doesn't have to do that anymore. So I don't know. It makes me feel good.
That's an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Like she doesn't have to worry about her roof. And like she was telling me too, like every winter, like they're wondering if that's the winter that's going to be the winter where the roof caves in on them. So they don't have to worry about that now either.
But the company stepped up though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because was it Certainty? No.
Certainty donated the shingles, and Maximum Vents donated the vents, and Gibson donated the plywood, part of the plywood. Yeah.
So it's nice to hear that the companies kind of stepped up and saw the, it was nice to help them out, help that person out.
Oh, it was awesome.
So good for you.
And I didn't really have to go out and find that either. It just kind of came to me.
You don't get any more Canadian than hockey, double doubles, and extreme climates. At Ventilation Maximum, they know it all. Their roofing ventilation solutions are designed to withstand the variety of weather conditions found across our vast and beautiful country. From the stormy and heavy snowfalls of the east to the dry and damp conditions of the west, they've got you covered. Discover the diverse line of ventilation products designed to be as robust as Canadians. Combine that with their personalized technical support, and they'll ensure to keep your roof dry in the winter and cool in the summer while extending the lifespan of your roof. Visit ventilation-maximum.com for more information.
Yeah. So that was cool too.
And then you're taking off to out west or vacation or work?
I'm going to Alberta because my son is out there. So I'm
Okay.
going out there to pick him up, but I also have a lot of family out there. So we're just going to go visit the family. We're taking all our kids with us and
Yeah, I
going to
thought
spend a week out there.
You guys being roofers, you all of a sudden go on vacation, you start roofing something.
Well, I have so many roofing friends out there that I was telling one of them, hey, I'm out there for the week and you need some help. I'll come help out.
You need to get like friends in the Dominican or something like that and start doing some clay roofs or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to make more friends.
So how many different types of roofs have you done? Have you done like rolled, like flat?
No, I don't
you
know
don't get
anything
into that
about
world.
flat. Yeah. To me, that's like a whole different ball game. I don't mess with flat roofs at all. But I've done cedar, Euroshield, metal, architectural, and like different kind of architectural shingles like Windsor, Armor Shake.
Do you like the shingle, the cedar?
I did it once. I did enjoy doing it. So I would do it again if I had the opportunity to do it again. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's really time consuming.
And it doesn't last.
The color, right?
It's not so much the color. I
I need a cough right now.
It's not so much the color of cedar as much as is I actually like the patina. I like the worn out patina.
Okay.
I just physically it doesn't last. If you don't maintain it properly, especially if your house has a lot of trees, mature trees around it, and you get all that off the trees, it starts to work its way into the cedar, and cedar doesn't last. So you've seen guys probably use copper, and you put copper every so many courses or whatever, and that helps it to activate the cedar and last longer. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, shingle wise, cedar doesn't compete against it. Like it depends on you got to still maintain it. Mm-hmm. Like cedars are not bulletproof. They're not perfect. They're not like metal roof. They're not like a really good asphalt shingle or anything like that. So it's beautiful to look at. And when it's done properly, it takes, what is it? Like 10 times longer than an hour.
Oh yeah.
It's insane
Yeah.
how long it takes.
The cedar job that I did, like we did it in the winter time. So yeah, it took a long time. And it's like, if it's wet,
slow, tedious work.
Oh yeah. But I still had fun doing it. Yeah.
Hard to shift gears from that to asphalt?
Yeah.
Because you're like so quick on
the asphalt. And then, yeah, it's like the same thing with metal. Like metal is, takes longer to do than asphalt.
Is metal getting better these days, or is there a lot of metal brands?
I don't know. Like I just started doing metal this year, so I'm still getting into everything.
Do you like it?
I'm starting to love it, I guess, but my husband likes it more than I do.
It takes a little bit longer?
Yeah, to me, it's like more time. I guess it depends what kind you're installing too. Like we've done diamonds and the Wakefield Bridge. They're like shingles. They look really nice.
I don't know.
We've done panels, standing seam.
Terminations, is it more intricate when you're having to deal with roof vents or skylights or any kind of plumbing terminations, like when you're handling metal shingles like that?
I think it just depends what kind of metal you're installing. Like if it's panels, it's probably not that complicated. But if you have to do like a tie-in with the shingle, like the metal shingles, you have to like make sure you're on point because you can't just play with the same way you can with a shingle.
Yeah, there's no forgiveness. There isn't much forgiveness, I guess, with the metal.
No. And then, yeah, it's just, you just can't like, how you can, with architectural shingles, you can drop a row and, kind of like space out a few rows, but you can't do that with metal.
Because everything clicks and
they lock into place.
It's there. So you have to be committed to where it's going to be going.
Yeah. And then with your pattern too. Yeah.
Yeah. Joshua makes it look so easy.
Josh is a professional.
While he's holding a beer can, he makes it look so easy while he's doing that, right? So
yeah.
he loves it. I know that he keeps on talking about it.
Yeah. My husband too. Like Josh and John are like two peas in a pod.
So what would you tell the roofers coming into the business these days, male or female?
Specifically female, if they were coming into roofing, my advice to them would to just, don't give up right away. Cause I had a lot of girls who were interested in roofing. I've trained a lot of girls, and so many times, they think they're going to come on the roof and they're going to roof like me, but
you got to learn.
It takes time to I've roofed for years, and it took a lot of roofing just to get as good as I am. And I think they just think it's going to be as easy as I make it look, and it's not. It's actually hard.
Social media,
yeah,
they think it's that simple.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of girls who walked away really quick, but not only because of that too, but because men are just not always so welcoming into trades too. So I've seen a lot of that as well.
You just set them in their ways. That's all it is. Simple as that. That's done.
Yeah.
Right?
Just ignore all the people. If somebody has something bad to say, just ignore them. Don't let it.
For the boys that are coming into the business, how would you?
For the men, I don't know. Just don't. Men like to seem like they like to rush through things. Like they're not as patient as women. So I would just say focus more on, don't rush through it.
Do a lot of people in the roofing industry just have this mindset of it's just a roof? Like, do they carry that with them? The ones that don't care about the industry.
I think some people are like that. I don't know. For me, I'm super passionate about my job, and I'm everything has to be perfect. Yeah. And
it doesn't matter that you're up there and 25, 30 feet or whatever it is.
Yeah, it has to look. I hate when people say that, oh, nobody's going to see it from the ground or whatever. It's so funny because when I was doing this charity project, my daughter came up on the roof, and Josh was teaching her how to shingle. And then I told her not to do something, and she got mad. She's my daughter, so she's sassy to me. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "It's okay, Mom. Nobody's gonna see it from the ground." And I'm like, "Don't you ever say that."
Where did you hear that from? That's what you're asking her. Well, I watched all the videos.
I don't know, but it was funny, and I was like, "No."
How old is she?
She's 12, but she'll be 13 soon.
And she's already okay. That's kind of.
Just like, nobody's gonna see it from the ground. I'm like, no, don't you ever say that.
Did everybody's eyes light up and look at her and go, hey, what are you saying?
I just called my little hack into training.
Wow. She'll learn. She'll eventually learn and then be an amazing roofer as well. Yeah.
Well, she doesn't want to be a roofer.
She doesn't?
No,
Does she have a roofer in her?
I think she could. Because I brought her to work a few times, and she worked a full day once and
did she like it, or did she?
I think she did, but she didn't last the whole day. Well, she lasts 8 hours. To me, a whole day is 10. But
she's preteen.
Yeah, she ended up going to sleep in the car, which was fine. She worked hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But and then the next day she's like, I need some Tylenol or Advil. My legs hurt, and I'm like, well, you're making muscle.
Yeah.
But I think, if she wanted to do it, I think she would be able to,
She'd probably pull it off really well too as well. Because, you got the best instructor.
Yeah. And I think my baby, because she's 4, but she's opposite of my older daughter. I think she would definitely love it. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I guess lately I've been seeing a lot of tradespeople not necessarily want their kids to come into the industry. They want something else for their kids, right?
I just tell my daughter, you do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, as long as you love doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
If it's got to be framing, that's okay. We'll talk about it. But I prefer if it was roofing.
Yeah. Or, she could do framing. We could build houses together.
That's how I'm looking at it. You start to build, a lot of trades are building their crews. Mm-hmm. They're just waiting for their date to come onto the site. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to specifically the roofing details, roofing material, roofing everything, what's going on, or is the material, the asphalt's better today than they were yesterday? Were they better yesterday? What's?
When I first started roofing, the laminate shingles that we use now, I feel like they're not as good as they used to be.
Really?
Yes, because you know how they have the 2-ply and then the single ply?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not like the same height. So like as you're trying to like shingle, they don't line up the same, and some are bigger and some are like, you know, an eighth of an inch smaller.
So manufacturing, like what? Like
yeah, it has to be
something going on.
Yeah.
I know that Joshua's got such a hatred towards asphalt, and he's not a fan of it.
No.
He won't do it. But that's the industry. The majority of the industry is that. So that's what we're doing. That's what most homeowners are asking for.
Yeah.
But so I mean, like, have those brands or those manufacturers kind of cut little corners here and there? And
I don't know. Like when we first noticed it, like I remember somebody saying like they're probably not keeping up with their equipment because they're producing so much material. I don't know.
good point. Could be. But
Yeah. I mean, like,
but that's
I
what
don't.
quality control's for.
Yeah, true.
Before it gets to you.
Exactly. I don't know what's going on with that. Like I've seen a lot of like different brands of shingles that are like that. And it's not just one, there's like multiple. And not to say that it actually affects, you know, the roof like from functioning properly. It doesn't look nice. That's it.
How's it dealing with clients when you get there and you're educating them about roofing? And do you prefer a client that is open-minded to your suggestions, or do you prefer a client that is just determined that this is what I want, install it, please do a great job, thank you very much?
I would never force a client to get more than what they want. I would recommend certain things, but you know, if they don't want it, I'm not gonna push it upon them.
No, but I mean, like, when I'm asking that, I mean, like, to show them options, present them. So if they're telling you, this is what we're looking for, this is our house, we're going to stay here for the next 10 years, we're going to stay here for 20 years or whatever it is. So options, are you interested in kind of educating them a tiny bit, going, here's some options that I would recommend based on my experience. This is what I think you guys should probably look at, right?
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're very receptive to that, or you get a lot of clients that just want the best price? Unfortunately, roofing.
Most times they take what we recommend. Price, sometimes you do get clients that just want cheapest of cheap everything. Right. I've heard, you know, they just want to make the roof look pretty for the sale, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
I've never been about the for sale sign. Like, a home has always been supposed to be a dwelling for a family. It's protected, especially a roof. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the one thing that's covering everything that's inside the house, including your family, right?
Yeah, your roof is super important.
So it just goes back to the story about, don't forget to get the pails. Like, she got so used to that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's so important, that detail. So why not spend the right amount of effort making the decision? Not necessarily spending the right amount of money. Yeah. Just make the right amount of effort to make the right decision. Mm-hmm. That's how I look at it. But then I won't always get the job because they're just looking for the cheapest price, right?
Yeah, that's true.
How is competition out there these days?
It's, you know, it's competition.
Is it? Well, it's busy out there, and a lot of people.
I actually don't think roofing is that busy this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think?
I don't know. I think just everything is so expensive right now.
You guys had a bunch of increases during the funny last few years?
Well, it's different, like, out here from Alberta. Like, when I was in Alberta, I did a lot of sub work, so most of my work was given to me. Out here, I'm doing sub work along with my own work. I have enough work to keep us busy and to keep my crew busy. But yeah, it's not crazy busy.
Is it kind of what you thought the year was going to be like, or are you thinking that it's a little lower than it was expected?
I think it's lower than expected.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think the industry's changing a tiny bit this year?
I don't know. I think just there's a lot that changed this year, not just the industry. And I think that's, you know, a lot of people don't, you know, everything's so expensive right now.
Everything is ridiculously expensive. And I think a lot of homeowners are they're watching where their pennies are going, even though the Canadian pennies don't exist anymore, whatever, they're not in circulation, but they're watching them. And they're probably being a little reserved about making some improvements, unless it's completely extreme where you need that improvement, like a roof, right? So those people with the tarps and the furring strips that are holding the tarps down on roofs, the ones that should get their roof done.
Yeah.
I get an uneasiness in my stomach when I see a house like that because I picture water getting inside the house.
I could see tarps working like as a temporary. It won't
For
last.
overnight. But
Yeah.
if that, and if we get a wind.
It has to be tarped properly too.
No, you're getting tarps on homes these days sometimes that they're all faded. That's how long they've been on there.
Holes in the tarp.
Yeah, holes in the tarp and stuff like
Yeah.
that. When it just hire a roofer, right?
Yeah. But I feel like, I don't know, like some people can't afford that. Like, for example, the ladies' roof the charity project I just did, like she couldn't afford it. Yeah.
But you were willing to help out, and then you were willing to mobilize a bunch of people and brands and see that it made sense to help this person out.
It did.
It made a lot of sense.
I felt so bad for her. Yeah.
And she actually reached out through, where's the connection there again? It was on Facebook?
I was doing her sister's roof.
Okay.
So her sister had called me for a quote, and I went quote her roof, and she said, oh, maybe my sister will want to quote, and she pointed to the neighbor. And when I looked at the roof, I was just like horrified. I'm like, there's like actual giant holes in her roof. So, and the idea was kind of in my head. Like I really felt for her because like she did come out and talk to me for a bit, and she told me that she had a fire in her home and she got a loan from the reserve to fix the repairs for the fire, but she couldn't, afford to get another loan to fix the roof.
Yeah.
So, and she's 67, I think, and yeah, she just couldn't afford to do it. And I left from there and I was talking to my husband. Like I just, felt so bad for her. And then I made a post on my personal page about it. And then I have a lot of roofers on my personal page, and they're like telling me to just do it. So I did it.
And now it's done.
Yeah. And now it's done. And they gave me gifts. Like she gave me like this blanket she made for me.
That's nice.
And some wood art.
That's nice.
Yeah. So
it's a great feeling.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I want to ask you, what are the best qualities and characteristics of a roofer, a good roofer?
A good roofer? Wow. You could just look at me and you would know.
Besides that. Okay, no, we start there and then we go down the list. So what other qualities?
I would just say how they present themselves, and I don't know, usually when you talk to somebody, you kind of get what kind of person they are. Yep. I say just follow your gut.
So you got a feeling?
Yeah.
That they're a good
professional tradesperson? Yeah, because like my husband doesn't dress the greatest. He looks like an actual roofer, ripped clothes, dirty clothes, and he's a good guy and he's an awesome roofer. So like maybe not super judgmental on how they look. But yeah, I think when you speak to somebody, you talk to them, you kind of get an idea of how they are and, who they are.
I'll never judge anybody except for painters that wear Crocs and track pants.
Ugh.
It bugs me. It just bugs me. I don't know what it is. It's not a safety thing. It's just, it's almost like you kind of gave up on trying to be a professional tradesperson.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was all that was left in the drawer. It was just like that.
Crocs and
track pants.
Track pants? Okay. Yeah. No.
But mostly painters are dressed up that way.
Yeah.
Comfort. It's comfort.
I see a lot of roofers in like just shorts and runners, sneakers.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, yeah, because we're outside all day, right? And
Crocs and track pants I have a problem with.
Yeah.
I don't think they belong on, and they try to argue with me saying, it's really comfortable, man. You understand? It's comfortable on my feet. It's comfortable on my pants and my legs. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just something about it bothers me.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. The shorts have pockets in it sometimes, and there's and runnings they're comfortable depending on which ones there are. Some tradespeople have wide feet and they need those New Balance wide foot running shoes. Sometimes steel toes don't work. I don't know anybody who makes wide foot steel toes, right? So you got some Neanderthal tradespeople with some wide feet. So that's why I was like, runners, I totally understand. That makes sense. But Crocs
and track
pants. Anti-Crocs and track pants for me is what it is. If I see you on the site and I'm looking at you, I'm probably looking down at the Crocs and track pants, waiting for you to acknowledge it before I bring it up.
Yeah. I don't know.
Tomorrow show up with, I don't know, anything but Crocs and track pants.
Yeah. Like track pants maybe, but the Crocs, I don't know. I've seen some photos on Facebook where roofers wearing Crocs. I'm like,
I've seen flat roofers installing roof roll with sandals and the torch.
now that doesn't seem very smart.
I've seen it, but I've also seen other stuff. And I think it was Jason just recently sent me some, it must have been in China, where it was a window installer finalizing the caulking, and he used a suction cup as leverage for his foot to get to the reach point.
Oh my goodness.
So he's hanging on to two of them. So one hand's holding on the top one, his foot's on the bottom one, and his other hand's holding a caulking gun, making the last pass of caulking, while there's another guy with a rope tied around his waist.
Yeah.
Just with a granny knot on it. I'm like, okay,
That
I'll wait to the end to see
yeah.
what happens, but nothing happened. So you didn't see him come back in. So I don't know where really, it's a cliffhanger.
We don't know what happened.
It's a suction cup cliffhanger is what it is. And it's like in the class of Crocs and track pants.
That is scary.
No, but on a roof, you want to be comfortable. You want to have comfortable footwear, comfortable pantwear, and just gear and stuff. So I'd never jog.
Yeah.
If it's dirty and it's ripped up, listen, you're talking to a guy who used to have a long sleeve green T-shirt that had holes in it everywhere, and I refused to give it up, to the point where I was being called Shrek for wearing it all the time. And I was like, this is one of my favorite tees. I'm just going to wear it all the time. And then I just eventually had to give it up when it looked like it was owned by Incredible Hulk or something like that. But I guess men are just attached to certain pieces of clothing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, women are the same way too.
I was going to say that.
Even more? Would we say more so or no? Different classes, I guess.
Maybe,
because the
yeah.
kind of clothes that men hang on to versus the kind of clothes that women.
My husband, I bought him this pants from Walmart, and it was a nice brown pants, like kind of like a Carhartt color.
Yeah.
And the button like popped off of it. So he wanted me to sew it back on because he really liked those pants. So yeah.
Makes sense. I
sewed it back on. I felt like we entered like a different part of our marriage now, where I'm sewing his clothes for him. So I don't know.
You should have just said just the one time. All
yeah.
right? That's all it is.
He told me to sew it a little wider because he has a bit of a belly. But then he lost a little bit of weight. He's been trying to like lose weight, and he's doing the arm wrestling thing now. And so I sewed it too wide now, and now it just So
now he's going to ask you to take it in.
Yeah.
Now you're just going to be this.
Well, it's so funny because even just the other day, he's like, "You like my belt?" And it was just a string tied to, yeah.
I'll give him an idea for a belt that I got from a friend of mine in the film business, where he was using an old seat belt from an actual car as a belt.
What?
And I thought that was brilliant.
That is kind of brilliant.
Because it's easy to just snap it right off, and your pants
There you go.
done. And then it's easy to hook on because you just put it right in and locks.
I wonder where he got it from.
No, he actually stole it from an actual car. Like he took it out of the. Do you remember the older cars that just had the bottom one? Not the 3-point.
Okay.
Just the bottom one. And he stole that, and then he turned it into a belt. And I was
kinda
like,
smart.
that's just pure genius right there. And someone should actually do that right now. Make
Yeah.
seatbelt belts
That's a good idea.
for tradespeople.
Oh,
Even attach it to your tool belt,
yeah.
because it's so easy to put it on and off.
There you go. New ideas.
Somebody run with it. I'm not doing it, but a roofer should run with it.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it. I don't know.
Get your husband to do it.
Yeah, I'll tell him.
And you're like, this is the best belt ever.
Yeah.
What's in the car?
No seatbelt.
Airbags. That's all it is. Imagine this. You're working on a construction project and accidentally damage a client's property. Without insurance, you could be held responsible for the repair costs. And what about unforeseen accidents that can happen on a job site? Construction projects come with their fair share of risks. If a third party gets injured, you could be facing medical expenses, legal fees, and even potential settlements. But with construction liability insurance, those expenses are covered, saving you from a significant financial burden. Every construction professional needs a margin of safety and a solid backup plan for when things go wrong. So if you're a general contractor, renovation expert, or a construction professional, don't leave your business vulnerable. Nail down the low-cost construction liability insurance you need and get a certificate of insurance quickly by getting a free quote now by visiting zensurance.com/save35. ZENSURANCE is Canada's leading source for small business and construction liability insurance. Let's get some more talking about roofing here. Signs of roof damage. What are the easy signs of roof damage?
Well, normally when you can just look from from the ground, you can see like if your shingles are curling.
Cracking.
Yeah. Or else if, look in your gutters and you got granule loss and what else? Blow offs, wind damage.
Why does a blow off happen?
Blow offs can happen from high nails or from shingles not sealing properly.
So cold weather install?
Yeah, that could cause them to. I roof all winter. I don't have issues with this. So I also think it's the brand of shingle, you use too.
Are they putting less and less adhesive on the back, or goes
I don't
back to manufacturing?
I don't want to say
Point fingers, I know.
Yeah, I
know.
don't want to put any names out there, but there are some that don't seal as good. I've also had some roofers won't, like, when you're pulling apart the shingles and they have like the sticky film, not the sticky, the film in between the tar.
Yeah.
Sometimes that gets stuck to the tar line, and sometimes roofers just don't care to pull them off. So, and that could prevent it from sealing.
The properly sealing.
Yeah. Well, it won't seal because the film is covering the tar strip. So
people seem to forget that winds can actually, like, I've seen some shingles almost doing the dance, right? Like it's just flapping.
Yeah.
And that's just, you're just waiting for, and then what's going to happen is, depending on, I guess, how cold or brittle the shingle is, it's just going to snap right off.
It's going to break off. Yeah.
Because the shingles are not designed like
to go back and forth.
Like a metal, right?
Yeah.
And you just snap it right off.
Yeah.
That's where I go back to, like, why not just educate the clients a little bit more and go, listen, I'm not trying to upsell you. I'm not trying to get you to spend more money. I'm actually trying to keep your house protected. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm really focused on. And they should listen. But you're right. The majority of homeowners are about the price instead of about the skill.
Yeah.
Or the experience, right?
Exactly.
And there's no real, I wish they would put a value on that.
Yeah.
But
you can also offer other like brands of shingles that that are going to be good. And some of them have like almost like the same price. So
that's where the education part comes in, right?
That's what I do.
What are some of the like critical, typical, like where can you get a leak in a roof? It's still installed properly. The house is done properly, but sometimes there's maybe something happens or something.
Probably, I'm going to say maybe like a weird dead spot on the roof. What else?
Some moisture just settles there kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, like, cause some roofs have like a dead valley or something, you just, And, also another thing I noticed, I had experience with was, goosenecks, bathroom vents. Out here, you guys call them bathroom vents, but in Alberta, we call them goosenecks.
Same thing, isn't it?
Well,
well, it depends on the brand, right? Because some of them
out here they use little plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
And in Alberta, we use like ones that look like actual gooseneck, and they're
metal,
galvanized. Yeah,
which I think they're better.
Yeah, but I've seen those cause leaks before too, just because like the ducts get plugged up from the dryer lint, or I've seen those cause ice dammings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you got all that hot air coming from the inside.
Yeah, and I've seen like it get all plugged up, so then it caused like a big ice dam all around it, and then with the ice dam, the water was running right under the shingles and all around the area. So like, those things can cause leaks too.
And it brings me to my next question is like, how often should either a homeowner or yourself be hired to go up and inspect the roof after the roof has been done? Just for regular maintenance. Like,
I would say at least once a year.
Yeah, just go up and take a look at.
Yeah.
And if you're a homeowner and you don't like heights or whatever, then just
get somebody else
hire
to
yourself
do it.
Or call somebody that you trust, and they'll go up there. They've got the ladder.
And another thing that could cause leaks is condensation. So like you can and that's the roof could be installed perfect and you can still have it condensate, but that's maybe because they don't have proper insulation inside their attic. I've seen cases where the insulation was covering the soffit, so the roof wasn't breathing properly. And
so and then we're back to science class at that time. You try to explain it to the homeowner that it's not
the roof.
It's not the material. It's not the roof. It's not the install.
Oh yeah. And speaking, like I just seen one of my friends did a roof for a homeowner, and the homeowner is like, "Oh, the roof's leaking. You did something wrong. Whatever." He goes back, gives him deducts him $500 off his quote, and Yeah, it wasn't even the roof leaking. It was the windowsill. So, so yeah, roofs can leak, but just because it's leaking, that doesn't mean it's actually coming from the roof.
Well, see, as tradespeople, though, we're also scientists where we can actually figure out, we go up there and you can determine exactly what's happening, right? You pay attention to where Mother Nature is going.
Yeah.
Then you try to explain it to them, but I guess their go-to is, oh, it's a roof leak.
Yeah.
Must be
exactly. Yeah.
You were the last person here, but that's not always the case.
Yep.
So where do they get their information from? Wikipedia.
Maybe Google. I don't know.
Warranties. What about warranties? What do you give for your warranty? Like the work that you do?
10 years workmanship warranty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then brands these days with their products are whatever, 10, 15, 20.
25, some are 50, just depending what you use.
Is it worth it? Like when you get into asphalt land and their 50-year warranty, is it really going to last 50 years?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I think like...
That's too long.
Yeah.
That's like 50 winters, 50 extreme heats. Like you don't know if that insulation inside the attic is going to be compressing. You don't know if they're going to top it up. You don't know if a critter's kind of try to get into the roof and then died and plugged it.
But then they say, they point at something, oh, and this is, we can't cover the real warranty because of this, or, they just find ways to get out of it.
So then why bother being really good marketing experts and saying that, oh, it's a 50-year warranty. You'll die in that house before it has to be changed. I'm like, no, you guys are full of crap.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really like hearing the big number. If it's metal, that's a different story because it's designed a certain way and it's interlocked. Mm-hmm. So Mother Nature has a harder time trying to break that.
Yeah. They say metal's the way to go. It just costs a little more.
When it's a little more, when you say a little bit more, like you were talking about twice the price or 50% more?
It just depends what you're installing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the brand that you guys like? It's Diamond?
Well, Josh installs the diamonds.
Okay.
Yeah.
He likes that.
Yeah. And to me, those are we've installed with him and they seem like pretty good metal, shingles to go with. I don't know, like they lock in nicely and you just have to be good at doing them. They're tedious.
There's skill attached to it.
Yeah. And my husband does them with him more than I do. I personally don't like installing them just because I don't have the patience to learn them. I like my shingles, my asphalt shingles.
So tool wise, what are you working like with? What do you have on the pouch and everything?
For tools, my go-tos would be the Metabo nailer. My hatchet is a stiletto roofing hatchet just because it's so light. And the reason why I like Metabo, Hitachi, same thing. Yeah. I just feel like Bostitch has like a bit of a kickback. The super roofers, they have a little bit of a kick, not as bad as the Bostitch, but they're more heavy. And I don't know, I just think Metabo shoots so nice, and I'm just so used to using it.
Battery or corded?
It'll definitely air.
Okay, corded.
I would never use a...
Why?
battery.
All the cool kids, they all want batteries.
I've used one before, and they always jam up. So they're not good for like full-on roofing. They're maybe for a repair.
Repairs.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring out a compressor, run a line.
Yeah.
Just go up there with the ladder.
And they're heavier. They're big guns.
They're a lot heavier.
Yeah.
For men and women, they're heavier. I don't care. I grab them. I'm like, guys, that's so heavy. They're like, what are you talking about? That's not heavy.
Yeah.
No, that's heavy. I'm sorry.
While you're carrying it all day, yeah, it gets, yeah, I don't know. My stiletto hatchet, I've been using a stiletto roofing hatchet for years. And the only thing with them is you can't really pry anything with them because they kind of they'll break.
Didn't I see, John, he had is it Prime Line?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm their brand ambassador, and they're coming out with a new hatchet that is designed to actually pry out 2-inch.
I saw his video there.
4-inch nails.
Did he say in his video that he actually had something to do with the design of that, or was
Yes, he designed it.
So he did. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I thought he was BSing that.
No, he designed it.
Okay, that's good for him.
He also designed a new ripper that they're coming out with too. So
Nice.
yeah, some stuff to look forward to.
I can't picture him being in the R&D R&D department there and just like, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. But he actually makes sense on what he suggested.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, the hatchet is cool. Like, with the stiletto, you can't pry out nails. Like, you'll break your hatchet. But with this one, there's like, it makes it easy.
So, what's the one question I haven't asked any of the roofers is, what's the go-to knife that you guys are using?
I used green knuckle savers.
Okay.
Have you seen them?
No.
They're bigger than the other roofing knives. They actually have a bend to them because, when you're like cutting shingles and you skin your knuckles and then they bleed and it hurts.
Yeah.
So
every time I did a repair job, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hate roofing.
So yeah, they're designed to prevent that from happening. If it happens, then maybe just like a smaller cut. I don't know. But I don't skin my knuckles. I have scars from it happening before, but
with other knives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the go-to that everybody's using?
Yeah.
And then pouch-wise?
Pouch, everybody tells me I wear a big pouch. They're like, you don't need a big pouch for roofing, but I like my big pouch because it carries more stuff in it and I like having my tools on me. I've seen people like, I don't wear a pouch. I'm like, well, you're running all over the roof for your tools. Like, I don't like that. And yeah, so I have, I got it from Primeline. They obviously supply me with all my tools and my harnesses.
But it's a good pouch though. It works for you.
Yeah. I have actually 2 big ones on the side and it's attached to my harness and yeah.
That's the one thing I disliked about pouches. And the first time I was wearing it, I was like, I don't like this. I just feel like there's so much weight put on your lower back.
Oh, yeah.
And it bugs the hell out of me and you start to feel it. The young kids don't feel it as much. I go, you're young. You understand? You have an invincible back right now. But you have to start paying attention to what that back's going to become.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you don't take care of your back, your posture's kind of funny looking.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's funny looking.
Yeah.
So you got to watch where you put your center of gravity or whatever like that. So it's nice to have a heavy set pouch and everything's carrying down on you, but you got to think long term what it's doing to your frame. Right?
Yeah.
So
mine's pretty heavy, like just being attached to my harness. I like my harness though because I have like the rings on the hips. Yeah. So when I'm doing steep ropes, it's just so nice to have the rings like right there.
You ever get some moments though, Samantha, where they like I've seen from balconies, I've seen roofers working on a really serious steep pitch, like serious. And all I'm doing is looking at the ankles, right? Because you see that placement of the ankle. And I'm like, are you okay? He goes, yeah, I'm fine. And I'm like, and they're there all day long. And I'm like, it hurts me just to look at you just on that. But I mean, it's like you get some moments when you're doing those hard pitched roofs and you're like,
yeah. So my husband makes me do all the hard spots. His excuse is I'm too fat. So that's what he tells.
No,
so I have to do.
He's lost weight recently. So.
He did, but he's a big guy. Like he's a pretty big guy. And I don't consider myself a small person either for a woman.
No.
So yeah, but yeah, you're lighter than me, so you have to do it. Whatever, I go do it, and I'm more comfortable hanging off of like the edge of the roof than he is, in his rope and harness, just because he feels like he's so much heavier. And for me, like I just attach my rope to my hip and go dangle there for a little bit, and yeah, I have scary moments. Yeah.
I was the older I get, a little bit nervous about heights sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'll still go to the CN Tower and jump on the glass floor. Like it won't bother the shit out of me.
You know what's so funny? I find myself more scared to do things like that than I do on roofing.
In the back of my head, I'm thinking it's not going to go. And if it goes, then my family's going to have a huge payout, right? But it's not going to go. And I'm pretty sure that whoever designed this, it's not just one layer. So if it goes, you crack the first one, but then the second one will catch you. And if you're a big enough person, I guess maybe the third one will catch you. Maybe. And then in the back of your head, you're thinking, oh, there's got to be about a dozen of them here.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's only 4. But if the first one goes, I'm already out of there. So that's why I don't think it's going to go. So,
yeah.
And I like seeing the look on the kids' faces when you're doing it because they're in shock. Going,
that's something my husband would do. Yeah.
It just makes sense to do. It's a glass floor. That's what a puddle. What do you do?
Jump in it.
Exactly. That's what you're supposed to do. So that's why I do that. But I find that when I'm on the roof and work and construction, I get a little nervous sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you climb the ladder and you're like, I don't remember this house being so high from the street. And then the ladder is just a little wonky. And I'm like, I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I guess it takes a lot to scare me on the roof, but there was one time, just recently, actually, like maybe a couple months ago, I was doing like a 2-story, I think it was like a 10, 12, 11, 12. I don't really remember. It was a steep roof. And I was hanging off the edge of the roof, you know, getting my drip edge on and whatever. And I didn't have no passer with me, so I was like grabbing everything myself. And as I, you know, finished putting my drip edge on, a couple shingles, I go back up and I look down because the one side that I was working on was steep. The other side was like, you know, not as steep. So when I went back to that side, I looked down and my lanyard's not even clipped in properly. So
the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that freaked me out. And now when I'm doing like going on these sketchy areas or going to be dangling off the roof or whatever, the side of the roof, I always double check my lanyards now.
Smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it was not clipped in properly. And I don't know. I'm just thankful I didn't fall off.
It's just one little misstep. That's
exactly.
And that's, I guess when you start your day, it's a routine, right?
Yeah. And you're so comfortable doing it that you don't even really think almost. Yeah. So now I think, if I'm going over that edge, I'm like double checking my lanyards, everything.
What are some roofs that you worked on that you were really impressed with at the end of it? Like some jobs that stand out for you?
There was this one out in Edmonton. The homeowners wanted a roof that like a different roofing brand of roof or whatever, different style, I guess, than what's already out there. So we went with Crown Slate from ICO.
Okay.
And it was beautiful. Like we've never worked with it before. And it was a lot different than the architectural shingles that we normally use. That roof was just different. It was nice. I've only done it once. I haven't seen it again. Haven't even seen other people do it. Yeah.
But was it also the design of the house that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't crazy steep, but it had like the valleys, the turret, and then there was the garage in the back. I had a picture of it on my Facebook page for a long time. It's not there anymore because I have somebody who helps manage my page and he changed it on me. So
So Samantha, why is it roofers are so passionate but also pessimistic? Like you'll get on social media and some people are idiots and start sharing idiot comments, and then some people are very supportive and sharing passionate comments, right? Like why is there such an extreme? There's no middle ground sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know why roofers are like that because I don't know. I can't explain. I think it's like that with like anything actually.
I see it a lot in roofing. I see it sometimes trim.
Okay,
finishing.
so they're just like, I don't know.
Like you don't know the whole story about, and like we said, it's just like there's an image being portrayed on the social media. So you're seeing a square image. You're just seeing the four corners. You're not seeing the whole story about behind that image or that video, whatever. And then all of a sudden you're just making assumptions, and now you're not even talking about the benefit of the doubt.
I hate that.
You don't know the whole story, but yet let me just keyboard warrior chime in here and I'll say some shit. And I'm like, shut up and just leave it alone, man.
I get a lot of that on my page, and it's I just ignore people now.
It's the best thing to do.
I don't know why roofers are like that, but I don't only get that from roofers too. I get that from, I could tell when people are not roofers when they come on my page and they say something to me, because I could just tell, because I don't like what they're saying just doesn't make sense, or they just never been, like maybe they roofed a little bit and kind of know, but there's like different ways of doing things. Like for example, I've had somebody, actually several people come on my page and be like, oh, you can't rip a roof like that. I've never seen a roof rip up like that. And I'm like, well, there's a video here of me doing it. And they think I staged my videos, that I've like pried out all the nails before ripping it or something. Like, yeah, they think it's like,
you know how much time that would cause
exactly
to do that? I remember my early days of social media and we were shooting content. I was like, you get one take. That the time that is taking to do it, that's the time of it. This isn't HGTV where you can do 10 takes all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
And then get it right, get it perfect, and then it looks beautiful and majestic. And I'm like, no, that's not real construction at that point, right? So.
Yeah. So like, don't know, when they make comments like that, just shows me that you don't roof enough to know that there's different ways to rip a roof.
They're just going on ChatGPT and just going, tell me some roofing lingo, so then I can start sharing some of my knowledge about roofing.
Yeah.
That's a mistake right there. How's dealing with the government? You ever deal with the Ministry of Labor and?
Not out here, actually.
No, you haven't? Are they stricter out west? Or?
I don't.
I don't even know anything about the inspection process out west. I should figure that out.
I've been like out west. They call it OH&S. Out here, they call it the ministry, right? But it's the same people. Yeah, and they come to the job and make sure you have your own anchors up there. You're tied off. Stuff. Out here, I think it is a little bit more stricter. Because I don't think I've ever gotten in trouble out there for not wearing like steel toes or anything like that. But out here, we had the builder come to us and like, oh, you need to wear hard hats, steel toes, and all this stuff. And never had that before.
Why do you need to wear a hard hat?
I don't know. Like, even when we were on the roof, like the builder came to the house and telling us to put the hard hats on, but I'm like, it falls off.
It's a blanketed thing, right? So It's just, I guess their thought process is up and down the ladder. You're down below.
To me, it makes sense to wear it on the ground, but
on the roof though, when you're on the roof roofing, I mean, to keep the sun off of you, maybe. Yeah. But like for safety wise.
Yeah. And with steel toe, like I don't wear steel toes on the roof. I never have. I probably never will, just because like I don't like, they're more likely to damage the shingles as you're walking on them.
Well, you correct me if I'm wrong here, because I've only ever worn maybe 3 or 4 different types of steel toe brands. Mm-hmm. And I've always found the soles to be very hard, which means that they can damage things. Yeah. And so that's why I see sneakers or more comfortable, not Crocs, being a positive thing when you're working on roofing. Like
even what kind of shoes you wear, because I've seen people like come up with like wearing normal shoes, but like they have a lot of tread on their shoes. So as they're walking around or working in the same spot for a little bit, they scuff up the roof.
Look, this caveman was just here, and we're going to do an imprint now and put it into the museum because you just left a mark on this.
Yeah,
on the
so
roof.
I don't like that.
and I agree with you. Yeah. So I mean, there's got to be. I would love to be a Ministry of Labor inspector one day and just go, because I wouldn't flag everything. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't be listen, just don't. I wouldn't bother with lids on roofers on the roof. Mm-hmm. It would make no sense to me. Yeah. Like I don't know if there's ever a scenario, unless there's cranes above you. But why would there be cranes above you moving material? And you wouldn't be below a crane while they're moving material anyway.
Maybe like when they're loading the roof, but again, like sometimes.
But you're always on the peak and it's brought to you.
That's true.
And they're never above you. Mm-hmm. So that's why it wouldn't work either there. So it doesn't make any sense. The only thing is when you're on the ladder going up and down and you're on the ground.
Exactly.
But I mean, like, I think that's just, you got to be human too. We're all humans. We're not, you're not purposely trying to be unsafe.
Yeah. I want to go home at the end of the day.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody does. So I don't even know why we went on tangent, but I just, because you have to deal with the government sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to deal with their I guess the only rule they have on the roof is the ice and water shield. Drip edge is not building code. Am I correct or wrong?
I think it's just one row of ice and out here in Alberta. Like we've always prepped our whole roofs. Like this is the first time I've, came out here and I've roofed with just ice and water and valleys and eaves. And
then you get the idiots saying, I don't know why you're protecting the whole roof, because that makes no sense. That roof's going to rot in 10 years. Whatever.
Yeah, but I've ripped a lot of roofs where it was just, and it was 3-tab shingles too. So not even like, the new stuff. And the roofs are fine.
Well, the thing is, anybody who's looking at it, I guess building-wise, inspection-wise, they got to understand the building part of that roof. There's something going on, like you said earlier, about condensation forming and ductwork and all kinds of stuff, attic, and that's all contributing to that. So it's not necessarily just the roof itself. Mm-hmm. So you got to design it a certain way. But I mean, that's why the building code only cares about the first layer. And if the soffit's too far out, you might have to do 2 layers to meet building code, because the roof actually starts at the facade of the house, the face of it. the cladding, not from
Okay.
the edge of the eavesdrop, right? So all of a sudden now you put one layer on, that's not even going to reach the 3 feet minimum.
Yeah,
So you got to put
that
the
makes
second
sense.
layer on, right?
Yeah.
But that's the only thing building code wise for a roof, other than just terminations. But that's just a roofing ceiling thing. That's
Yeah.
not even a code thing.
I think, if you're a good roofer and you don't cut corners or anything like that, I think you can get away with just a row of ice and water and, in the valleys and the eaves.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is there room for improvement in the roofing industry?
With roofers, yeah, absolutely.
Where? What?
Just, I see it so often where people just rush through jobs. Like they just get in, get out. And it looks cool to the homeowner, but then when you go up there and actually see up close and it's just a half-assed job, or else, you can't see under the shingles, so you don't know,
Exactly.
their nail pattern or, high nails. Yeah. Or if their nails are not banged in all the way. I've seen it. I've seen people do it and I just cringe.
Is there, I know a lot of other trades do educational days. Like they'll take the time off of work and just set aside. Is it worth doing that for roofers as well, to just have more educational classes?
I think that would be awesome if somebody did that. Yeah.
So who can we get to do that?
I think the owners of the roofing companies should do that for their roofers.
A day a month or something like that, and have a day and you just the whole crew and
Yeah,
you sit down and you pick a detail and you work on it.
I've worked with a company that was like that. We had a meeting every month and they had several crews and I was one of them. I was subbing for them. And they would bring everybody there and they'd go over what they wanted changed and what they didn't want to see anymore. And they would know who's doing what because they know who they're giving the jobs to and who's assigned to that job. So I think roofers should do that.
Would you want to see scaffolding instead of ladders for roofing?
We were talking about that the other day.
Europe is all about that.
I feel like it would be nice, but at the same time, it's gonna probably cost more.
It's going to price you out. And
Yeah.
I think clients, the way they are to begin with.
And depending how big the job is too, how long is this going to take to set up?
It's a whole other trade in Europe, right? So they do it as a whole other trade. They come in, set it up, and then you do the roof, and then it's a good point because it basically eliminates a lot of safety risks,
Exactly.
right? That's the point of it.
Yeah.
Because that's where the potentials are, right?
Yeah. I think it is a good idea, but
who's going to pay for it?
Exactly.
It won't be clients.
No. Yeah.
It's a shame, but I'm just looking at my notes here. That's all. Covering a bunch of stuff. How did you build your brand?
Summit Sisters or Roofer Girl?
Both. How old Summit Sisters?
Summit Sisters is very new. We just started last year.
Okay. And who's in the group?
Well, there's several of us. I have girls in Alberta, Saskatchewan, scattered around Ontario. Yeah. So that started through the documentary that we did.
Okay.
And I wasn't expecting to start Summit Sisters. It was one of my partners who suggested it just because the documentary, and we had I guess a lot of news reporters on site, and we were being interviewed, and I don't know, and they just saw it as a good opportunity to make a company out of it, and that's what we did. And for Roofer Girl, I started Roofer Girl years ago, and that started just because when I got into roofing, I started joining the groups on Facebook, and I started to really see how roofers are.
You saw the room for improvement.
I got a dose of that big time. So I started my own page, and at first I was kind of scared to post things because I was scared of people judging me and kind of embarrassed to make videos on the roof, and didn't want to be the person on the roof taking videos and taking pictures. Now I don't care, but when I first started it, I didn't want them to be like, oh, look at her, or make fun of me. But then after a while, I just I stopped caring, and my sister came roof with me, and that she helped me create my first super viral. Actually, my most famous video on my page right now is like 58 million views on it.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I just asked her, like, will you record me and I'll shingle the side real quick. And I did that, and then did a voiceover, edited it up a little bit, and and it went crazy. My page like blew up. It was awesome. And then I became Roofer Girl. Everybody knew me as Roofer Girl.
Roofer Girl.
There was people, like one of my friends, one of my workers was sitting down at Tim Hortons, and she heard people like talking about me. I was like, what? It's so cool.
And now it's just gotten bigger.
Yeah. I have 300,000 followers on Facebook now.
Wow.
Yeah. So Facebook is my biggest platform.
Is it the same thing to try to build Summit Sisters as well?
So my pages are, everybody knows I own Summit Sisters. So people know we're connected. Yeah.
So it's going to grow.
It's growing. Yeah.
Just to make more videos.
I have I just started it last year, and it's like over 5,000.
Isn't it a lot of work? Like, don't you find it like you got to engage, answer questions, and then you got a roof?
Well, I have, somebody who helps operate the pages with me.
Yeah.
So he helps with that. But yeah, it is a lot of work to like even just making the videos, because I'm constantly moving my camera around. If it's too hot, I won't even bother, because I just like want to get the roof over and done with. But yeah, I'm like setting up my tripod and then moving it to different locations, and go home, and I'll, before bed, I'll just lay in bed and I'll just edit my videos and post them. Yeah. And I'm fast at it now, but like when I first started, it was like I had to learn how to do everything.
It's another job. And that's what I mean. It's like, kudos to the people that are pulling it off and making it happen and getting it out there.
But if you do it, you can make money doing this too. There's ways to monetize it. And my page was monetized for a while too, and I was making good money off of it. Unfortunately, I lost my monetization because Facebook has all these crazy rules, but I was making good money off of it, and my YouTube's monetized too now. And
are these like new Canadian rules or something like that? Or is it, isn't TikTok like not applicable to Canadians to making monetizing their channel?
My TikTok is.
Someone told us that. I think I'm trying to remember which. There was a guest that told us that.
Yeah, you can monetize it, but it's just not as like for me. And maybe because my following's not that big on TikTok, I have like 40 something thousand.
Sorry, now I remember. It was Girl Framer. Oh, fuck, I feel bad. I forgot her name. She's the biggest page on TikTok, framing wise. Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah. Girls Can Frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has a huge TikTok following.
She does.
But she can't monetize it because she's Canadian.
I think they kind of changed the rules a little bit because you can monetize it.
Okay.
But it's just like for me anyways, my following's not as big as her on TikTok. But you get people like give you live gifts, and that can convert to money. But it's like for me, I have like $10 from doing lives. Like it's not that great for me anyways. I don't know. She has a bigger following than me, but maybe she doesn't even know that. I don't know. I should ask her. Yeah.
If you can do it, like if you can monetize and use it, do it.
But that's not even the only thing. Like having, this big platform, it opens up other doors for you. And that's what happened to me. Like that's how I was connected to Primeline. And I've been to like several roofing conferences in the States, and I've been on panels, and I've been in the news like 4 times out here now since I moved out here. And I just moved out here just a little bit over a year ago.
Wow.
So yeah, like having a big page like that, big platform, it does open other doors and opportunities for you.
But all the other women that you're attracting to get into the industry too, that look up to you
exactly
as an inspiration.
There you go. Yeah.
Right?
And another
That's
thing
huge.
too, have you ever heard about the Mary Berg show? The Mary Berg, I think it's a new TV show coming out.
I don't know TV. I don't know what that is. I don't watch TV.
I don't watch it much either, but they had emailed me, and they want me to be on their TV show.
Awesome.
So yeah, that is cool.
It's very, very cool. What is it? A local kind of? Not a local.
Yeah, it's in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mary
CTV.
Berg. I never even heard of that show.
I think it's called something with Mary.
I can't tell you what anything is. I'm barely knowing what's streaming these days.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm too old, I guess, for all of that stuff. But all right, we're getting close to wrapping it up, Samantha. I think we covered quite a bit. Is there anything else you want to share?
Not that I could think of at the moment.
Anything big coming up? Big projects? Big roofing jobs or something interesting, or even just like a shed you're going to roof?
Well, I I actually just did like this really nice big roof for, her name is Shanda Fernie.
Okay. Should I know her?
Maybe. I don't know. She wrote a book and it's like bestseller on Amazon. But she dated Jeffrey Compon. I don't know. But you can Google him. But he was connected to like the cartel in Mexico and whatever. Yeah, I did her roof. And like, I don't know. It was just, she gave me her book and I read through her book. And it was like, I was just so...
Autobiography or what? Or is it?
It's a book. It's... she just wanted to tell her side because he was a like, if you Google this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And this is a Canadian?
Yeah. I did her roof out in Welland, and I guess like her boyfriend was involved in like the transferring across the board.
I'm sure guys that are listening right now, they're like shaking their heads and smacking their foreheads going, how do you not know who this is, man?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not a part of the drug trade. I don't understand.
You can Google it, and it was just so fascinating for me to like read her book. And then she had like this diner out in Welland, and I went eat there, and I'm like looking at it because she describes the diner in her book. Like her house got raided when she was with him, like in the middle of the night, and she just wanted to share with her people her experience. It's called Forever a Memoir.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
what kind of roof did she choose?
What kind of roof?
Yeah.
Just laminate shingles. Yeah. But we gave her a good run. Owens Corning. Yeah.
That's an interesting angle, huh?
It was just crazy to me because like when I read her book, and she might have a Netflix thing coming out too. So it was just, I don't know. It was cool to me.
Yeah. You got to think these people need their roofs too.
Yeah. And like when I would like Googled it, and you could see like the roof that I was like, hey, I did that roof.
To be honest, Escobar could have did with a really good roof too, instead of having all that money eaten by rats underneath the ground, right? Yeah. He could have just built a structure that had a roof on it taken care of, and then all that money would have been taken care of safe and sound.
Yeah. Should have called Roofer Girl.
That's interesting that kind of celebrity.
Yeah. I told her, like, I need to go back and get your signature. I need you to sign this book. And she was like, oh yeah, come over anytime. I was like, okay, I'm going to go tomorrow actually.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody, Summit Sisters, Roofer Girl, www.summitsisters.ca, roofergirl.inc, at outlook.com, the.roofer.girl on social media, everywhere, all that stuff. Ready to do 12 questions?
Sure.
I don't remember your answers from the last time. Well,
I don't either.
What is your favorite construction word?
I remember that one. It's the F word.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite construction word?
Rain.
What turns you on in construction?
The sound my gun makes while I'm shingling a nice big open side. Yeah.
What turns you off in construction?
High nails. Bad roofers. Yeah.
Is that just laziness? Like high nails are just laziness?
They just want to do it so fast they don't care where their nails are going. And that's what causes blow-offs. Yeah.
There's an actual like sweet spot on the shingle.
Yeah. Right? You want to hit the 2-ply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to education.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe somebody's learning, eh?
What's your favorite curse word? We haven't been cursing, so you can get a pass if you don't want to curse.
It's the F word I said.
Okay, no, but you can say the F word. No, but that's your favorite construction word.
Yeah. And it's
2 separate questions.
Wait.
Sometimes a lot of guests have actually said the same word for both questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's no rules for these questions.
Just F word, I guess.
What's your favorite vehicle in the entire world?
I'm not a big person. Like, I'm not big into vehicles at all. I don't.
Bikes?
Shuttle? No, definitely not a shuttle. I just wanted like a nice truck. GMC maybe. Yeah.
Just pissed off the Ford and Dodge guys.
I'm pissed off at Ford because we've had a Ford Super Duty 350 for a while, and it was just the amount of repairs we put into that thing was just like insane.
It's a good thing you didn't get a Lightning.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite vehicle?
I don't like vans. I don't know. I just don't like vans at all. I had one before, but I just
don't like them.
Specifically just vans.
What construction sound or noise do you love?
Oh, construction sound or noise. Wouldn't that be like the same as hearing my nail gun go off?
It could be that sound as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
That Metabo does it.
Oh, yeah.
Is it still good even though Hitachi?
Honestly, I don't think it's as good as it used to be.
That's what I
Now
thought.
that you ask that.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Because, like, I've had Hitachi and my nail guns would last forever, but now it's like I'm having problems within the year with a Metabo. I still prefer Metabo, but
they had a stigma, Hitachi. Like they're well known to be really good, right?
Yeah.
So now it's almost like they brought them down to the competition.
You know what I'm hearing though? Well, what I know too, actually, the Mastercraft are really good nail guns and very similar to Hitachi.
Really?
Yeah, and a fraction of the cost. A lot of roofers are using Mastercrafts now.
I find that interesting.
Yeah, you wouldn't think.
Inquire about that.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. Someone makes that gun. Mastercraft's not making that gun.
Probably not. Like, it's an awesome gun. My husband uses Mastercraft.
It's a clone gun, so someone's making that gun for them.
It's definitely very similar to Hitachi.
Interesting. What construction sound or noise do you hate?
I hate the sound of a saw.
Any saw?
Like a skill saw when you're like cutting wood. I hate that noise.
Screams.
Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day?
Like would like to attempt.
Something like try one day.
I really want to like build stuff and like refurbish old furniture. Like I really want to do stuff. Like I have like 16 pallets inside my garage. My husband hates me right now. He won't let me get any more, but like I want to build stuff.
I made mason jar containers out of pallets.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I was too lazy to remove all the nails.
Okay.
So then it ended up costing me with router bits and saw blades.
Oh.
Because every time you made a cut, because I put handles and I routed the handles and I did everything properly, but I was always hitting a nail.
Yeah.
Always hitting a nail.
You were rushing through it.
No, I just didn't want to spend the time and effort to remove every single nail.
My husband would have done the same thing.
Yeah, but
this
then
is where women come in more patient.
I get it, but I just like, then you start crying because you're just killing these bits and the blades and you're like, what a waste. You're such an idiot. Why not just take the time?
I'll keep that in mind. I'm removing nails.
But I made a bunch and then the family just attacked all of them and took them because I made them to fit perfectly mason jars, right? So
wow.
I got tired of having to carry mason tomato.
Okay.
Like I'm Portuguese, right? So you make tomato into cardboard boxes. And then I remember one year specifically, it just fell right out of the bottom because it got wet.
Oh.
So I was like, enough of that. I'm making these.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, oh, these are great. You could probably sell these online. And I only made like 15 of them, I think.
How long did it take you to make one?
To make all of them was just a whole routine, right? Because I just I designed it, figured it out, cut it, and then I cut all the pieces. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I think it took a weekend. I took care of it in a weekend. I even spray painted a logo on the side and everything, all that side. Like made it look legit.
You should have did like a whole video so I can go and watch it.
This is like before that. This was just me doing it. I still have, I'm trying to remember if I still have like 4 or 5 of them. I still have.
Nice.
Because they went fast. That's the problem with having siblings. What profession would you not like to do?
Work in an office, doing paperwork and computer stuff. I hate that stuff.
Looking at the roof.
Yeah. When I'm like even at home, like if I'm staring at my laptop too long, doing paperwork and whatever, like I might get like stress headaches. My neck starts to hurt and I'm like, I can't.
It's hard, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, roofing's so much easier than this.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
To probably let me know that my work down here is not finished, so send me back. Yeah, but it's good to know that I'm going to heaven.
Well said. Well said. Samantha, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming back. And I'm sorry about that. So thank you very much. It was a great chat.
No
and,
problem.
I hope is he waiting or is he?
I don't know. I'll find him.
It's usually the other way around. No, he's gone shopping.
Yeah. Well, he's buying weights because, his arm wrestling, he's taking it really seriously.
He wants to lose weight so then he can do the tricky spots. And then you can.
There you go. I'm going to bring that up with him.
Right. So Samantha De Coteau, Summit Sisters Roofing Inc. and www.summitsisters.ca, roofergirl.inc, at outlook.com, and the.roofer.girl all over Instagram and Facebook. And Facebook is
Roofer Girl.
Roofer Girl. That's it. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Angeline, we're out of here.